Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday. Hey, and I'm ready to swang. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Aproko Hour on Viva Niger Radio. Today is the 2nd of June 2017. Where is this year running to? I am Rachel, your friendly neighborhood Aproko perpetrator and spreader. And this is the show where we talk about all the things that have been trending on social media and in the news. What have Nigerians been talking about the most this week? This is the show where we get to discuss it all. Now, I'm not normally alone, and I'm waiting for the other members to join me in the studio. So this is where we put the world to rights and actually just have a chat about, well, so what's been going on and what do we think about different things that have been happening, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Nigerian social media, Nigerian news, Nigerian people. Sometimes we talk about America, the UK, etc., as well. But we try to deal with stuff that uh, actually concerns us the most, right? So this is exactly what we're doing here. Now, I am alone, so while I'm alone, let me give you some housekeeping rules. We're going to talk about telephone numbers, who you need to call, and no, it's not Ghostbusters. Behave yourself. If you are in the UK, you're going to need to dial 0330 998 1261. If you're based in America, the telephone number you need to call to join us on Aproko Hour and give us your 2 cents is 712-770-4032. If you're based in Nigeria, that number is 01440 5024. In all three cases, no matter what country you're in, the access code you need is 264812. That access code, once again, is 264812. So, now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about events. Is there anything interesting going down this weekend? Is there anything that we should watch or want to? I don't know. Is there anything going on in your side of the world that you want to tell us about? I don't know. But so let's talk about the UK. What's going on in the UK? On Friday, the 30th of June, for those of you here in the UK, Adekunle Gold is going to be here for just a one night stand London concert at the O2 Academy in Islington. So that should be good because he's got some really new stuff out. There is a movie premiere, which is the Talking Dolls. I said Talking Drums. Sorry, that's the name of our other show. The Talking Dolls movie that's going to premiere in 21st of July. So that's ages away yet. Let's see if there's anything closer to home that we can actually. If there's anything that we might want to watch, I don't know, or anything I might want to do. I'm going to get some information for you though, and we'll see what we can do about that. So this week on Wednesday we had Aproko. Sorry, the reason why it seems like I'm distracted is because until everybody else joins the studio, there is this horrible elevator music in my speakers, and that is literally all I can hear. So if it sounds like I'm talking like someone who's losing their minds, other than the fact that I am actually losing my mind, it's because this music does da 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 is going off in the background. So apologies if it doesn't seem like I'm making a lot of sense and it sounds like I'm a little bit scatty. I'm not scatty. I'm just, there's a lot going on in my brain at the moment. So on Wednesday, we actually had a conversation on the Talking Drum. That's every Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. West African time, by the way. We actually had a conversation about what to do when members of your family or friends or loved ones don't approve of your partner. That was so amazing because we talked about what we would do, and we had a couple of people on the show saying they would have married whoever they wanted to marry regardless anyway, that they were that set that they wanted to marry the person that they went ahead and married the person. For one person, it ended up working all right, even though it was a very, very rocky road to get to where they are now, where they're happily married. For another person, from when they got married, within 3 months she'd moved out and the marriage ended in separation and then later on divorce. But it's quite interesting that there were many people who said, no, 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 no. But at that time, I wanted to do it. I would have still done it. I'm glad I did it, blah, 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 blah. But then when we're talking about, well, so what's going to happen now about your children? So what would happen if you had a child who said they wanted to marry someone that you absolutely did not approve of? How would you feel? And they all totally said, I'm going to put in my 2 cents here. I don't want to see my child go down the wrong route. I don't want to see my child come to any harm. I understand that their decision is their final decision, but I would still love to guide them aright. So it's interesting that we wouldn't listen as young people. We would never let our parents decide for us who we married or who we ended up dating or who we ended up spending the rest of our lives with, even if it were a mistake. We are adamant that we want to make our own mistakes. But then on the other side, we are completely we want to protect our children from any mistakes or any sort of lifelong misery or anything like that. So it's interesting how we feel when we are someone's child versus when someone else is our child. I don't know where everyone is. The studio seems empty right now. Rachel isn't here with us yet. We don't have Nkiru in the house. We don't have Bimbo in the house. We don't have Dolapo in the house. Nobody seems to be in the house at the moment. Maybe I'm hallucinating. Is today not Friday? Don't y'all want to get your groove on? Today must be Friday, right? Um, I don't know what to say. Maybe I'll play a little song so that I stop talking to myself. Also, so that I can stop, listening to this crazy music while I work out where everyone is. Are you serious? Are you guys serious? You're just gonna leave me here with nobody in the studio for over 7 minutes? Now all the
Hello?
audience think I'm mad. Hello, Rachel.
Sorry.
Because I was just talking to myself and there's nobody in the studio. I'm at a point where I was like, I be today, Friday again. I've spoken all the phone in my mouth and you people still didn't log on. That's just rude. That's rude and disrespectful. I don't know where Nkiru is. She said she's back in town. So Nkiru traveled and
Yes, I think I was
she's
to be
not
on
nowhere
half
to be
time
seen.
today.
Bimbo said today is a half day. She's going to be all over it. She's got so much to say. Bimbo's nowhere to be seen. Dolapo was chatting with me earlier on in the day, and now he's saying to me, I'm in a meeting. I'll join you when I'm free, Jerry. So this is how you people behave. This is how you people behave. Because it's Friday now. Y'all just have no
And
home training.
devil's advocate, for those of us on this side of the pond, it's working hours now, so we kind of have to be sneaking out at 2 p.m. And sometimes
I
those
know, I know, I know. So for that, you're excused. But for the other heifers who know what time Aproko Hour is, I don't even know what to say to them at this point. I mean,
Friday, they took one glass too many. They forgot the time they are coming.
I'm
Don't worry.
sure, I'm sure, because we all spoke earlier on today, and the ladies were like, "Yes, I'm back. Yes, I'm home. Yes, I'll be all over it," and they're not here. So it's just you and me. So without further ado, I think we should get started because, I've given them the numbers they need to dial in. I've told them what events are happening over the weekend. I've talked about what we discussed on Talking Drum on Wednesday. Oh, okay, yes, I'll tell you what we're going to discuss next week when we get to that topic. But now I think it's time to start with this week's news. So, first on the list is, did you hear the story about Ambode's wife?
I did.
Hmm. So
I
let me. So what exactly did you hear? Let's go with what you heard, and let me see if it's the same thing. Because there was not,
think
and
the only thing that there are two stories. The major thing, she came for anointing, and she was upset that she wasn't attended to first. She stormed out, and the next thing, the pastor was fired
yes,
and kicked out.
that's basically what I heard too. I also heard that when she was going to storm out of the church, the pastor actually went after her to say, "Oh, is anything wrong?" Or no, I don't know if it's the pastor that ended up being fired, but someone went after her just to say, "Ah,
Yeah, the
madam, is everything okay?" Blah blah blah, and she brushed it off. She was just like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine." Next thing, this guy's without a job. So, so first of all, let me ask what you think about it. Do you think he should have recognized the presence of the First Lady of Lagos, more so as that is I think that is the Alausa Church or the Alausa branch of that particular church, or that is the main church that the officials attend, I think. This is just me playing devil's advocate. Of course, I have my own feelings, but do you feel like he should have at least given her anointing first, or anointed her first, or whatever it is they call what they do?
Based on, just because obviously there's a little bit more information on this particular scenario, but based on what the story that was put out, I mean, is it not supposed to be turn by turn?
Yes.
That's
Number
what it
one,
is,
it's
right?
supposed to be turn by turn. Number two, let's not forget that it is church, right? This is church. This is not,
Mm-hmm.
there's no prize, and if you really want to follow the Bible, the Bible says the first shall be the last. So I don't even
Yeah.
understand how turn by turn and do you know who I am has found itself into a church service. But okay, fine. Maybe you don't feel like she should have been, the guy should have been fired necessarily, but do you feel like she had even a point to be angry?
No. Um, Again, there's very little that happened. There's another side that says that it was just one or two accounts that says it wasn't as simple as he didn't attend to her as much as she was standing online and he went ahead to pointedly ignore her because of other things that were going on. If that is correct, then yeah, I can understand the annoyance. But let's go back to the information that we have majorly, which is she was
Okay, but let's
upset
take
that she
that
was
one.
not
Let's even
attended to
take that
church.
one that he pointedly ignored her. What
Then
would
I
be
can
the
understand someone being upset because if she's standing smack dab in front of you
how is
and
that
she's the
possible?
next
How could that
person
possibly
and
be
you
true?
walk around, I don't know. I wasn't there. They're
How
not
would I
giving us
have,
much
how would
information.
somebody come for anointing and I'm like, I am just not going to give you anointing? Like, how would I just say about the first lady? I would just not anoint, or I'm just going to pretend like I can't see you, or I'm just,
Like I can see you and I'll go about doing it. There are ways to do it. You go about doing non-issue things
I guess,
until for another 10, 15 minutes until before you finally come
I
and say,
guess,
okay,
I
by the
guess.
way, here's your anointing. I
Can you
mean, if that
imagine?
happened, then yeah, I can understand in case of you two were looking for trouble, but they're not
Mm.
really giving us a lot of information. She's not coming out to say anything. She's not coming out to say, hey, this is not how it happened, that's how it happened. The woman is just keeping silent in the face of all the hellfire, thunder will kill you, and all that stuff.
What
So
really?
it's very hard to tell. If it's just really that she, if it's all about she felt insulted because she was not the first one to get anointing, then she needs to take a couple steps down,
I,
like
I
take
think I
many
think she
many
needs to
steps
take a
back
couple
down
seats.
because
What also really annoys me is that whether he blatantly ignored her, in fact, see, whether he even slapped her in church, gave her Holy Spirit slap, we don't know you, Mrs. Ambode, but we are fond of your husband. When he started this job, everybody was like, oh my gosh, Fashola's shoes are pretty big shoes to fill. Oh my gosh, can anybody do what Fashola has done? Oh, he brought BRT, he brought this, he brought that. And this guy was maybe not a non-entity, but we didn't know a lot about his past achievements, who he was, anything about his political background or whatever. Even people in opposing camps, so even PDP people have been saying, Haba, no, Ambode is trying. Haba, Ambode is doing big things. Yes, he caught a little slack for Lagos at 50 and the people he appointed to organize that. But I mean, he can't be everything and, he can't be all men to, he can't be a god to all men, not being go organize Lagos at 50, not being go, he's obviously put people there and they're probably not doing what they said they should do, or maybe they're eating the money. I don't know. All I know is I've seen some complaints online about Lagos at 50. Oh, fantastic. We don't know you. You've never been to a motherless baby's home. You don't have any campaign. Does anybody know what she does? Does she do rural life, better life for rural women? Has she carried one small pikin and given the pikin polio injection? Has she gone to any secondary schools and said, "Oh, you people sit up or read your book, or book is very important"? Has she shared wrapper for women in Tejo markets when Tejo market died? There are things that all first ladies do. I don't know this woman at all. I have not heard her name attached to any campaign or anything. And it's not like Abba now. She be her Oga just started. No, we're talking a good 2 years down the line, right? So why would you just use one activity to put a smear on his work, on his so the first time we've all, like, I had to go and Google her picture. I was like, oh, is he married? Is he, is there a wife somewhere? Is there, oh, my bad, I didn't know. I had to literally,
I
I
didn't know. Yeah, same thing here.
like, oh, he even get wife if it cause this kind of problem. I was just like, oh, crazy. So you don't
I think it
do
was quite
anything,
silly of both of them, to be quite frank.
and for him to approve it regardless of it, because you used
Yeah.
one hand to.
Even I would hazard a guess that there were some other underlying things, and even if
Mm,
you had planned on terminating this man, just because that happened, they should have held on. They should have said, okay, because there is no explanation you're going to put out now.
yes,
The only
yes,
thing, just this incident
yes, yes,
overshadows
yes.
every other
They should have
thing.
just
I
silently
hate to
sacked
use
him
the
like 4 months later or something.
exactly. I hate to use the word optics, but for the way it would look, even if they had the most legitimate reason, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
short of finding
Mm-hmm.
him with a head dangling in his
Mm,
room,
mm.
they should have really just held on and said, just for the way it will look, let's hold on, let this blow over, and then you can now come and address your legitimate issues and let him go at that point. But now you just took away and made it all about Ambode's wife versus the church.
Number one, Amber's wife
And he
versus the
was very
church,
silly
and
for
then
opposing
number
it.
two, no PR, no damage control, no nothing.
Nothing.
When you are doing
Nothing.
the event of your governmental career, Lagos is 50
Mm-hmm.
years old. The capital, well, we all know what Abuja is. It's just a figurehead or whatever. But the center of excellence is 50 years old, and smack dab in the middle of this event, this thing that's your baby, that, I mean, it could have just been handled a whole lot better. I would have sacked him
It could have been handled a lot better.
silently around that October, November. I'll just say, hey, Pastor Doe, how you doing? See, there's somebody else that wants to be pastor. Sure, you go and do pastor in Ado-Ekiti or something. Like, it could have just been handled a lot better. But I also heard that there was a lot of backlash the very next week. So we've had one more Sunday since that has happened. The very next week, they said less than half of the church turned up. There's so many people that have deserted the church. So many
But
people.
this is also a church the woman does not go to very regularly.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
So
thank you. It's not even her
it was
local.
very
So
poor handling. Yeah,
yes,
whatever
yes.
their reason for terminating him, the
Mm,
optics was just very, and
yes,
I do hate
yes.
that word. I just don't know what else to use.
Mm,
And that's one thing. Damage control, PR, is something we are very poor at. We just
yes.
do what you want, let the chips fall where they may. When you are in a position in the public eye, you don't do let the chips fall where they may. You really have
Yes.
to look at
But I
how
think Nigerian
it comes
politicians
across.
do. They do where the chips fall where they may, because, you know,
They do.
Dino has sold graduation gown, and the chips fell very well. They fell yakata, and nothing happened. Somebody has
Nothing
carried
happened.
rice to go and give people that you have not paid their salary. What's the name of the guy? Was it Ondo or Yo that said to the students, "You have no home training. You can't talk to me like that. Is it my fault that you people they
As
see
in,
and I will not pay you your money? Go and call Elokpolokpa." And the chips fell yakata, and nothing
well,
happened. So it's you know they don't have any. It's in the Western world that there are repercussions for actions. So when there aren't any and people are used to getting away with just about anything, nobody's going to say because of that Ambode go and reinstate that man. Nobody's going to say because of that Ambode your next if he wants to go for a second term, that second term would ever be in jeopardy. Nobody's going to say Ambode tell your wife to sit down and stop taking governmental decisions on
mm-hmm.
there's nothing is going to happen.
No, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be
Nothing.
status quo.
Nothing. So it's a shame. It's a shame, but I just feel it's more of a shame that it's not something Ambode did. It's taken all of his good work. Like I said, it takes months and years to get a good reputation. It takes minutes to destroy it or to leave a bad taste in
To
people's mouths.
some
Like,
extent, it's what he did. To some extent, because he approved
yes,
it. I mean, she
yeah,
could have gone home and ranted and raved all she wanted. Can you imagine? Can you see that?
yes,
He
yes,
put his
yeah,
stamp of approval on the termination of this man.
yes.
So it
I
is
agree.
about him, and it's,
I agree.
for me, a little bit less about her, because all he has to do was mollify his wife and say, "Ma,
Yes,
now,
yes,
so,
yes,
this is my work and everything."
yes,
And she would have
yes.
fumed and eventually gotten over it.
She doesn't
But
even
he
have to
probably
say this is my
felt
work. He should have
slighted.
just said, "Hey, what am I lobe more? Borrow one Ben." You
Exactly.
know,
But he also
if
probably felt slighted, and he's like, "How
mm,
dare you, my
mm.
wife? Okay, I show you. And this is how we ended up here."
So yeah, I'm just sorry that he didn't take a decision that was probably more balanced and more reasonable. But like we said earlier, this is probably not going to affect his career in any way. He'll continue being Ambode. Hopefully we'll get a couple sacks of rice when second term is coming up,
Yep.
and then a little continue, and that's it basically. So let's
Yep.
move on because it's 25 past. This week was what was it? National was it Democracy Day or it was definitely wasn't Independence Day. It
It
was
was
just something.
Democracy Day. Yes.
It was Democracy Day exactly. It also marked the 50th year anniversary of the um the
The
Civil
light
War
on
in
our
Nigeria.
history.
Yes, a big stain on our history, and I want to talk about that by the way, the history and how come we know so little about it and we weren't taught in schools. Um, yeah, it was the civil war basically, the Biafran war, Juku, etc., etc. Now Kanu is out of prison or out of jail, and he issued a stay-at-home day for all Igbos to demonstrate their umbrage at how the Igbos have been treated, more so on this 50th year anniversary, and also the agitators for Biafra and the separation of Biafra are louder and larger than ever before. Before we continue with this, let me go forward into saying, ladies and gentlemen, if you tune in right here on Wednesday, so Wednesday the 5th of June, between the hours of 8 and 10, we're actually going to have a discussion on the Biafran struggle. We're going to have someone discuss for and someone discuss against, because I think we need to do justice to this topic, and I am not the person to do justice to the topic. I don't even know who the major players are. I don't know my Ronsi separates from my Ojuku. I don't know who gave who Kwashoko. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what people are fighting for. I don't know anything. But there is no way we could move, we could say we're doing Aproko Hour without actually talking about this, without mentioning this at all. So let me speak to Rachel, and we've actually got another caller on the line. Caller, I'm going to come to you. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I think I know exactly who this is. Nkiruka. Nkiruka, is that you?
Hey,
Oh, Bimbo.
good evening. Good
Good evening.
evening.
Who is that?
Rachel.
Hey. Rachel, did it sound like cats first?
No, I sounded funny when I said good evening.
Exactly.
Right.
I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not.
You don't know me by now. You should.
She said that, so you did do. So welcome. You was how was your trip? You traveled, right?
I did. I went to Marrakesh. It was awesome.
Oh, did you have a good time?
Oh Lord, I can't even begin to explain. I think the camel knows how good I had a time. Yeah.
Even the camel knows.
The camel found out. Yeah.
Welcome.
But yes, good evening, ladies. I'm so sorry I was late. I was killing ants with my children as they want that. Don't worry, Rachel has helped you very well. Has she?
Seriously.
It's all right. No, I can understand. She's allowed. Just for today, Sha.
So for those
Wednesday, resumed you.
For those that just joined us, I was just saying to the audience before you guys joined that when I'm alone in the studio, there is a background music that I cannot silence the music, I can't kill the music, I can't do anything about the music. And it is so distracting. So when I'm trying to talk through the music, hi everyone, it's blah 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 blah. This is Rachel. Welcome to Aproko Hour. Meanwhile, the music is doing turn, 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 turn. But and that's so good. They do the turn and they go until someone joins the studio. So for me, trying to collate your thoughts when this is it's crazy. If you try and do it for like 10 minutes, you will nearly you'll nearly lose your mind. So thank you for joining us, Inkiru. Welcome back. We completely missed you. We're just talking about Biafra. And we're just telling the people at home that we're going to have a Biafra special next Wednesday, which is the Talking Drum, 8 to 10 p.m. For those of you who are just joining us, because I think history is important. I think we need to know why, we need to know what's going on. God knows they didn't teach us in secondary school. I bet they teach you now. Maybe in my school they don't teach us. So
they teach you, I beg.
I didn't do
history at all. I ran away from history, so I don't know.
But even in history, it seems like it was kind of bleached from the history books. And even the little bits that I managed to read and I managed to find seems to be very, very biased. So if you read something from someone who is pro-Biafra, by the time you finish reading it, you'll be like, hey, it's even true, Seth. Give them their country. What's in Seth? And if you read something from someone who wasn't necessarily pro-Biafra, they'll say, these Igbo people should stop with this noise. They get hand inside too. They themselves, they did one or two things. No Biafra, no this, no that. So there is no, to my mind, and I'm hoping, we'll be able to get some clarity on Wednesday, but there doesn't seem to be any objective written down, on 1st of August 1956, so this happened. After that one, 2nd of August, so this one now come and happen. After that one, 3rd of August, there was so and so fight, and this side won or this side lost. A lot of it just seems to be very emotional, very opinionated, very biased, and I'm no better off. I don't know. I don't know what is happening. I don't know, why the war happened, why it's ended, who lost, and why and how and what happened. And so are the Igbo people now fighting for the same Biafra dream that was fought for 50 years ago? Or have they modified it? Is it a different fight they're fighting now? I don't know. That's okay. Is it there? Tell me, Jerry, fine girl.
To be honest with you, because now it's more like politics for me, because I don't understand what the noise is all about. But there's something more to it than that. They want to be segregated and have their own state. I mean, come on, please. What's that about? They're doing it. It's just certain Igbo people that are doing it. It's not all Igbos that are into it like some Igbos are. Some have dedicated their whole being to Biafra. You go to some houses, I've not seen in the UK yet, but there's some people in the States. They are flying the Biafra flag. Were you there? I don't get it. I don't get what the upset is all about. There was a protest the other day. I saw a video. I'm not even sure where it was. I don't know if it was in the UK or in the US. I don't know where. But I think they're escalating it to the point where if we say now religious fanatics, now Biafra fanatics we get.
Yes,
You get what I mean?
yes. And the people who are, I noticed that a couple of days leading up to the actual Democracy Day, and even right up until this day, come and see friend request. Uchechukwu, Chiedu, Ugochukwu. I said, come. Where am I from?
I'm telling you.
I'm not Igbo, you know. Are you people recruiting people for, you know? And then they do a lot of things, and they say a lot of things that I don't, for lack of a better word, defies common sense. Like when you try and take the whole of Niger Delta, and I'm proudly Niger Delta, so so far so good. The football fight among Igbo, not their problem. Not drag Ijo, not drag Worry, not drag
Not drag anybody inside there. You know, it's escalating. It's escalating to a different thing. It's becoming, you know, I'm not insulting anybody, but before anybody starts to vex, you know how all of a sudden the Fulanis, they've gone crazy, kind of like Sharia law, and the Biafra people, the Biafra, it's not Igbos, because me, I know join. My family no join. My friends who I know no join. But let me just do disclaimer now, before the madness starts. But the Igbo, the Biafra people are escalating to that point. And I don't understand where they step up on that.
And the other thing that I'm finding quite interesting is it's almost like you have to be pro Biafra to have sense. Like if an Igbo person says, "Oh, I'm not for Biafra." Anyway, I don't blame you. You are Niger Delta. You don't know anything. You don't know how our people were slaughtered or whatever. When a real
let me say this.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, let me say this. This is how I feel. And on Wednesday we'll talk more. I don't know too much about history, but I have heard first-person tales from people who experienced the war. Yeah. And you know when they talk about chills going down your spine.
Yes.
When they talk about the war of Biafra, that's the only time I feel that. It described experiences that gave me nightmares. And I am talking both the Igbos and those on the Nigerian side. And when this agitation for Biafra started, I looked at those who agitated. I said, you guys do not know what war is. If you did, you would not beat these drums that you beat. Oh.
You wouldn't beat these drums because war is never... I remember there was someone on Facebook who wrote a statement saying, it's interesting that the funny thing is this war, when you're talking about chills down your spine, it's because it's still fresh. We're talking about 50 years ago. So there are people alive today who actually lived through it. There are still people here who can give us first-hand information, who can give us, you know, this is what happened in my village, this is what I passed through, this is blah, blah, blah,
and
blah,
they
blah.
do not like talking about it. They do not like talking about it.
No, they don't.
I'm talking somebody describing people, they take all the men in a village, they ask them to dig their graves, they ask them to jump inside, and they cover them up and start to shoot them. These are the stories that people were telling. There was, at this point, there's no differentiation between Biafra or Nigeria. They are telling you about the horrors that they experienced. You are hearing about them, because when people talk about Biafra, and I understand we are marginalized, we are this, listen, everybody feels that way, okay? The Benin man feels the Yoruba man is taking advantage of it. The Hausa man thinks the Yoruba man has used his education to ride him, so they want to hold power. The Igbo man, we all feel some sort of marginalization. But what are we talking about? What are you agitating for? I mean, I think you should hold your governors responsible for putting a Christmas tree of over 1.5 million naira when he has not paid his employees. Hold them responsible first before you start saying, by fire, by force, we are going to split. It'd be really...
Hello? Oh, we lost Rachel. Oh, and she was warming up as well. Can you hear me, Kira?
So,
Kai, we've lost Rachel.
The line cut.
So there's so while we're waiting for Rachel to log out and come back on, so let me exit her from the studio. So maybe
I'm back.
Oh, I was literally about to hang you. Okay, go ahead.
I got kicked out. Yeah. So I read someone's perspective, the Calabar man and the Rivers man, and when they say, we want no part in this, because guess what? The battle for Biafra did not favor us. We were also abused. Biafra is saying Nigeria is abusing us, but you abuse other minorities. I think what gets me most is this desire to present Biafra as victims.
Yes.
Nigeria, Awolowo's tactic was cruel, but I understand the tactic. If you are my enemy, why would I feed you?
Yes.
Is it cruel and unusual? Absolutely. Is it wrong to do that? Yes. But this is war.
This is war. We do,
War is not war. War
we
is
kill,
not
we rape.
war. Do you really think I care about you?
Yeah.
I want to kill you. That's what we are saying here. I want to kill you, pieces you. You think I won't come at you, any shape, any form? And we want to go down that route again?
And like you said, I think the people who are clamoring for it don't know what they're asking for. They do not know what they're asking for. So
some children are safely ensconced in Europe, America. They will not feel the brunt of this war.
Yes.
We all cannot take our people away from Nigeria. And we are crying for it. There's no war. We say Nigeria is bad.
Thank you. Nigeria is hard enough.
Real?
Nigeria is hard enough. Nigeria is hard enough. So
I do something on a personal note. If you're on my page and you're beating drums of war for Biafra, I just go to the unfriend place and I unfriend very quietly.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
But
I can't wait.
What amazes me, what amazes me with this whole Biafra thing, do you notice how the drums that are beating louder are in the UK and the US? Nigeria,
Benny.
I hardly hear it. It's crazy. We're here. You're here in a place where you have 3 square meals a day. You're making noise for people back home. You want to instigate a war where the people back home are not, yes, fine, they complain about the guy that went to whatever, but at the same time, what are you making noise here for? You're flying Biafra flag in your flat, comfortable. People back home have
not your flat in Kiruka, your council flat, These people need to lean back. These people need to lean back.
They're squatting in somebody else's council flat.
Because the funny thing, on that day, on the Democracy Day, and Kanu issued a sit-at-home whatever, I saw a lot of people on Facebook saying, I don't know what this is about. My Igbo neighbor came out and went to his shop. My Igbo neighbor came out and went to his spare parts shop. My Igbo neighbor stood up and went to work. All Igbo people were like, I beg, I'm not going to be in the...
Nobody wants to get involved in that.
Nobody wants to get involved. In Kiruka, I have a message for you from a listener. Somebody is saying, telling Kiru, I said, God bless her. Correct. Yes, it's the diaspora people who are complaining all over America and UK. What nonsense. Tell her, make sure she hears this.
For real.
Yeah. So there's definitely people who
thank you. I said bless.
They said bless up, listener. So I can't wait for Wednesday when we have finished arguing whether they should, why they are back again, why they think they have a point, or why they want their own land. I'm gonna try and be completely just let everybody speak, unbiased rather. But when we finish discussing all that one, the next thing I now want to discuss is how do you want to go about it? Will you all pack your load and go back to the east? All the Igbos in Lagos.
I don't come and apply for visa to come to Nigeria. So look for who first. Now I want to ask. Go to the village to Aspa. Because Igbo person go tell you say Aspagini.
Aspagini, Aspa waiting.
They're going to need visa now. They're going to need visa at that point. In fact, to come back. Babe, guess what? You see those where they make that for UK and US? 95% of them don't get paper.
Number one, they don't get paper. Number two, they don't get house. You see, Chukwu Jindu cannot go back to the village. His mother will not open the door for him. Chukwu Jindu went on lost since 1992. If mama no go open door, if your mama open door, call me bastard. A lot of them
don't get paper.
They don't get. Now I mean they hook now.
When I watched the protest, some of them, if they are bold enough and brass enough as they're carrying on and flying, Biafra, why are their faces? Some of them, their faces were covered.
Oh
Waiting
yeah,
in the
I
shame.
saw that.
If they know they're standing up for their rights and they know what they're talking about, then get the freaking mask off and show your face and be a man. Stand up to what you're saying. They covered their faces. They're causing uproar for no justified reason.
Causing
Really?
uproar. Meanwhile, their faces are covered.
Covered
Meanwhile,
because
their
they're not
faces
gutsy
are
enough to
covered.
carry it through. They want to start a war. This same idiot causing all this noise here. When war starts, now then go first run into another man's house, go hide.
My dear.
Why can't we learn? Look at the Sudanese people. The South Sudanese agitated for their own country. What has it gotten them? Now they have their own country. They are one of the poorest, most underdeveloped. Who is answering them now? Yes, they are recognized. What beyond that? What have they gotten? Please, from one Igbo girl to all her fellow Nigerian women.
But that is why they're clamoring. If you look at the map, the cuts all Ijo joined the map. The cuts all Niger Delta joined the map because on its own, yes, Igbo people, let me give it to them, by the way, trade, entrepreneurship, just forged steel iron balls to go out. Naibo de Malaysia. Naibo first know say one place there where they call South Pole. We are like flies now. We did everywhere. Name any country, you must find one. Not there.
No, I will tell you what my mother says. My mother says if you get somewhere, you don't see an Igbo man. Pack your bag. It is a very bad place. Because the kind of money that an Igbo man cannot there's no business. There's no business. There is no business.
So I have but on their own, I don't know how they plan on doing it, and they know that, which is why they are adding all these other cities and all these other countries and saying this thing is by force. We have enough issues in Nigeria already. Oh, and by the way, another thing someone said on Facebook, which I thought was quite interesting, was someone said, one of the major problems that the Igbos will have, other than even Biafra or no Biafra, or collecting Biafra or not collecting Biafra, is this I am Igboer than your Igbo. My Igbo is more special than your Igbo. Yes. My Igbo my God, we get that a lot. We get that a lot. You know, we get a lot. You get the emo saying, oh, they're more Igbo than the Anambras. The Anambras are westernized Igbos. I mean, really? So you can't even agree. You can't agree between yourselves. Yorubas between themselves. If your Modakeke fit fight, but nobody go fit tell Modakeke say in Yoruba no Yoruba reach if Yoruba. Ijebu cannot say na dem be Yoruba, no be Ibadan. Ibadan cannot say na dem be Yoruba, no be. It is all Yoruba. It is Igbos that I have seen hierarchy of Igbo. It is Igbos that I have seen. Instead of the Igbos to find a way to find peace or find a way to leave the northern part where they are killing all of them, to go and stay at home in the village, they want to create Biafra because Fulani are causing problems. They want to cause problems. Nigeria has enough issues on their plate right now. Adding Biafra onto it is just a different ball game altogether. What? I mean, the whole topic is so annoying. It's bad enough as it is. It's very annoying. I really can't wait until Wednesday. Wednesday we're gonna let everybody. I can't wait. Because I really don't want, like I've been saying all along, I don't want an emotional outpouring. I want them to come and say, okay, you believe in this Biafra. That's not a problem. Talk to us. Talk us through it. Educate us. Tell us something we don't know, because obviously you feel like we don't know something. What is the point? Why do you feel like you need your own land? And if you do, what is the gain for you to stand on your own, etc., etc.? So these are all the things that I want us to discuss. And of course, we're going to have people who are going to be speaking against Biafra as well. And I would love to hear what they have to say as well. Like, why do you think we're better off as one country? Because sometimes, we do have to ask the question, is there a time and a place for a referendum? The same way we gave Scotland a referendum. Do you want to go or do you want to stay? Luckily for us, they said they wanted to stay. But I mean, maybe this is just me playing devil's advocate. Maybe there is a place in history to say, okay, if you hate the rest of Nigeria that much, okay, you can't take Ijaw with you because they don't want to go with you. You can't take Niger Delta with you. You can't take Port Harcourt with you. But if you want to carve yourself and say you are Enugu, you are Anambra, you are whatever, and you want to go separately, let us vote. Oh yeah, let's vote. Once we have voted, if the majority wins, come and be going. Come and be going, and you can only get visa to come into this country, because I think there is also a point to be made for, why would I want to live with someone who doesn't want to live with me? Why would I want to, every time we come around the table, someone is always shouting, I kukuma didn't want to be here. I kukuma didn't want to be here. Is there a point to be made for let them go? If they have enough votes, we put it to a vote, they all vote they want to go, because come and be going. But if we say, if you vote and the vote ends up as 90% of you said you want to stay, if I hear B, if I hear B, maybe it's behavior you wanted to say, maybe it's beehive you wanted to, maybe it's Beyonce you wanted to say. If I hear B from any Igbo person, now come to country. No, true to God. Maybe there comes a point where
issues,
a lot of serious issues. Please, let's move on. Until Wednesday, Sha, we go judge them.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Next thing on the agenda, Osinbajo. So, our vice president, well, basically our president, I saw a meme on Twitter when someone says, who is the president of Nigeria? And someone responded, Osinbajo, home president. Buhari, away president. Our erstwhile president, really, because he's been ruling for as long as I can remember, basically. Because even when Buhari was well, he spent his whole tenure on a plane, not to talk of now, we block us the pen and so. He seems to just be saying all the right things, doing all the right things. He is both a sensitive leader, whilst also being an intelligent leader. We seem to have our very own Nigerian Obama. Now, there's two things I wanted to say, and I wanted to put this out to you girls, and I was hoping that Dolakwa would be here, because I love when men weigh in on politics, or at least anybody who has more of an understanding than I do, not necessarily man just because he's a man. But first of all, I think Nigeria could do with some goodwill. I think when you see enough leaders like Dino Melaye, I think when you see enough leaders just generally being stupid, it's nice to see a leader that you can call, yeah, man, there goes our president. Yeah, president talking sense. Yeah, anyway, go, he's charming. Kids are rushing towards him. We have a president actually hugging school kids. I don't see it from Abacha or Basanjo. I can count back to all the presidents we've had since I've been alive. I don't think a president has ever gone to a school. I don't think I remember that, ever seeing that. So, two things I wanted to say. The first thing is it enough? Yes, he's hugging school kids, but is he changing any legislature or any policy? Is Nigeria any better because we have a talking, charming, lovely president? And the second thing is, I've heard that just 2 minutes before we started the show, someone said to me, yeah, but his life is in danger, right? Because if anything should happen, Osinbajo now, that if anything should happen to Buhari, the North are very reluctant to hand power over to the Yorubas.
Yep.
So if anything should happen to him, it may very well favor them to Kukuma kill him. Let's do a whole new election, or Kukuma just do military rule all over again. So do you think there is a risk that people would vote for Osinbajo if there was a second term, if he makes it to 4 years without being killed? Secondly, do you think, other than the fact that for once we actually have a president that we're happy to stretch hand and call our president, because there was a picture of Trump even famsing him when they went for this summit that they went to, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. So he's actually being recognized and respected by world leaders, and that does good for our national ego, right? So do you feel like,
of course,
is it making any difference? Does it matter that he is now the man on the seat? Because now I've even forgotten that we once voted for Buhari. I've not seen Buhari in so long that I don't even remember. If I pass him for road, I'm not sure I go recognize him.
No, but jokes apart, is he still alive? First question.
Can you kill him? I thank God, beg you.
Now. When I don't hear about the man since, he don't tell now.
Yeah, it don't cuckoo tell. It in hospital. I saw a picture of Aisha That was at some point this week. Flying out to
Yeah.
go and join her husband.
Hey,
Um,
yeah.
but I really genuinely think he's on his last legs. So that is what
Hey,
is making the
wow.
fear even
Hey, yeah.
more.
Wow. Nigeria. Then cost them. Every president want to die.
My dear, if now you
Um.
you
It
know
doesn't
die.
matter. Quite honestly, the way I feel, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter. He's got a capable vice president. Short of someone killing Osinbajo, and I refuse to function from that paranoid place. We have
Yes,
laws. If Buhari dies, God forbid, Osinbajo becomes president.
and
I
that's
mean,
the
that's
thing.
all I can.
Is that
We
not how
don't have a
Jonathan?
fool for it.
Sorry, say that again, please,
I
Inkirka.
said, is that not how Jonathan became president?
And now he
After
did
Exactly.
small
Yaradua.
interim, then he became president.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chineke, now wow.
It's
Get
not Chineke.
this way.
That's what we are seeing. No, that's what we are now seeing. So, okay, let's move on to the last topic. Let's move. So, University of Ibadan. In fact, I'm just tired. I'm just tired because we used to have great citadels of learning, and I am really quite young. So when people talk about so when I think about the pride I have, I'm a great Ife alumnus, if that's the right word, and anywhere I hear great, that before they've even finished the grades, I'm already standing at attention. So when I hear people talk about their uni, when if people who are saying, "Oh, I graduated in 1984, I graduated in 1982," and they are saying, "Oh, now that time if be school," and I'm just like, chill. And because see, let me say what I want to say now before you people will say Rachel has started again. There are some girls in girls' hostel. Some of those babes, hey, gentlemen, it's you I'm talking to. Some of those pepperless babes that you people used to say, like, oh, must see this girl, fine girl. Oh my God, if this girl doesn't agree for me, I'm just going to kill my now die now. I just won't die. Those girls were doing short put. Oh, do you know what is short put? Oh Jesus. In Kirika, do you know what is short put?
Is it the actual sport or there's another one to it?
Not the only sports. Which
Oh Lord.
Now you know.
Rachel, wait till we short put. Tell
Michelle,
them.
you are just
Now
laughing.
here you come on, make us explain.
Yes, please talk it.
Tell
Talk it
them
out
what is
loud.
short put. Rachel will know. I
And
don't
my
care.
understanding is, short put is when you take a nylon bag, put inside it tight,
Rachel!
and you carry from the room.
Rachel!
No, I didn't know that.
I think the hostel small before I come up for house.
Hey, bad gas.
Short put is because our drainage, our hygiene, it was all just terrible. The
Oh
pride
no.
that we have in Ife, the rooms were built, Mozambique Hall was built for four in a room. There were some rooms in Mozambique Hall when I was schooling there that had 12 people in a room. Four
Oh
of the
God.
single beds had been turned into bunk beds, so that was eight legal people. There was something called bed nine. So bed nine was a mattress on the floor between the two lengthwise. So here's a bunk bed. In between, on the floor, in between the two bunk bed was bed nine. The person who stays in bed nine, and in fact, most of the girls had their lockers outside of the room against the wall of the hall, of the long hall, just because there was
Mm.
no space in the room. Then you would probably have two, three, or maybe even four girls who were squatters. So they did not have a permanent bed. Yes, they were on hot
Jesus.
rotation. That means so I know you from home. You and I used to go to the same church, or you and I, or your mother has just said that my
Yes.
pikin self they come your school or help
Oh,
me look am or blah 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 blah, and didn't manage to get accommodation or whatever. It is her job to sleep whenever I am not sleeping or whenever I am not using my bed. So if I wake up and say I want to read, that is when she will sleep. If I have lectures during the day, She can even miss lectures just so she can get an hour or 2 hours sleep. Because if I need my bed, I need my bed. So they were just squatters. And we slept cheek by jowl next to rats.
Wow.
And these were not rats. These things were like dog. Big, big dog. I remember, oh God. It was horrific. Then you can imagine a situation where somebody was cooking, oh God, inside that same room that has 9, 10 people. Do you know what is
Rachel, oh God.
oh God is beans. We used to call beans oh God because you know they ever they done. So you go to hear, oh God, is this beans not cook? Oh God. So if person tell you say
Oh
in
my
the cook
goodness.
oh God, he go first go buy risky burger chop. He go first go buy you know what is risky burger now? Is egg that all those aboki used to fry. Then they will now
No.
slice
Very,
the bread, put
very
the egg
risky.
inside.
Mm.
Risky, too risky.
I
So you can
okay.
imagine that was university for us. When I live here now and I look at the way things are and I'm like the relative comfort that these students have to go to school in, and someone is telling me, oh my God, I'm so stressed, like, oh, my lectures, right, oh, my lecturer is so difficult, I can't. I'm like, your father lap, really, because all you have to do is pick your books and read. That's all you have to do.
That's
You have
it.
constant light, you have constant water, you have constant,
They
you
have
have,
computer, internet.
all you have to do is read.
One book to one form. That was what school was. One book.
We
Textbook
couldn't
that had
even
the
find the
subject.
books to buy most of the time. You would
Thank
just print the
you.
handouts, you would just
Yeah?
print the whatever and hope for
Oh
the best.
God.
So
That
now,
was funny.
University of Ibadan teachers or student
Mm.
union group were complaining about this treatment and saying, oh, they removed, they said they could no longer use hot plates in their room, that they have to use the school appointed, where they're supposed to cook and whatever, because of
Mm.
fear of fire and everything, which sounds like a reasonable thing until you realize that 9 out of 10 of the sockets in the appointed cafeteria place don't
Mm.
work. So these students were like, you cannot just make a law. Of course, by all means, if you fix the sockets, if you give us ample accommodation, if you stop treating us like animals and actually spend some of this money in refurbishing these dormitories, then of course, who wants to sleep in the same place where they are blending pepper, where they are frying tomato, of course, we don't want to cook in our room, but this is what we find ourselves doing. This has led to a complete stalemate to the point where the VC summarily just shut down University of Ibadan. He disbanded the student union, although the student union are saying we are not student union leader says we are not a cube of sugar that can be dissolved. We don't know this dissolved that he's talking about.
Oh God, Nigerian
So
students. There's
I'm
nobody
just
like
tired of these
Nigerian
people.
students.
So he's according to him, he dissolved or disbanded or whatever, then shut down the school, said every student must leave the school by noon on a particular date. I've forgotten the date. So far, so annoying and so far, so painful. But not be that one even pain everybody. Next day, after supposedly shutting down the school because he said the student union were barking for war, basically is what he said, and trying to
Mm.
cause anarchy, basically, and start fights where there is no fight.
Mm.
We saw him the next day taking pictures next to his son in the United States doing convocation.
Can you imagine?
The Vice
Oh,
Chancellor of University of Ibadan. That is what he was doing.
yeah. Nigeria.
So his
Well,
student isn't in the school. His son isn't in the school. His son isn't a student. His son doesn't have to sit and inhale pepper, this thing. He closed the school and he went to the States. I mean, what can we do other than make money and fly our children out, basically?
my dear, can't.
Nothing. I've got a listener here saying, Nigeria. Sorry, you wake up in the morning, look out of your hostel window, and the queue for water is long, right around the building. And it's 8 a.m. and you have 9 a.m. lectures. Half your classmates are on that same line. But by 9 a.m., they'll all be in class, looking good and smelling good. You do that for 4 years. Now that's going to school. Man, we dey bath with one comb of water now, as in the turning water comb. You would throw it up, stand under with your armpits and your legs spread wide open at the right at strategic distance. By the time that water comes down and
Yeah.
touches the floor, you are clean now, haba. Unless you are
Sharpish,
not
sharpish, sharpishly,
sharpishly.
sharpishly,
And not just
sharpishly.
clean, or clean to the point that guys will toast you. Octo rush, I die fighting.
Oh,
With a bath daily, nonsense and strawberry. So, I
oh,
mean, we hope University of Ibadan opens up soon enough. We hope these, uh, what are they called now? Lecturers, vice chancellors get a grip. It is hard enough being a student in Nigeria. It is hard enough being a human being in Nigeria
in Nigeria.
without
Hmm.
having to deal with Biafra, hot plates, no hot
Hey,
plates.
pronounce it well before they come after you.
They
Biafra.
go, wait now until
Before they come
Wednesday.
for
They
look
go
for you.
still beat me this Wednesday. I can sense it in my soul.
I mean, this topic, even me, I'm fearing. I fear for this topic, yeah. Everybody, Bible.
But you know what I think?
Hmm.
I'm really excited because I feel like we can't just be judging Fiki Faka every day. Hey, relationship. Hey, this is still part of who we are. We must judge this
Yes, of
Biafra
course.
matter. It's gonna hurt,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be a lot of raised temperatures and raised voices. I'm hoping
Well.
I got
I
two
wish we get some
people.
Biafra people to dial in.
Please do
Maybe
get as
Biafra.
many Biafra people.
Ndiala. I will see
I
if I
would
can
say
find.
Ndiala.
I would love
Find,
someone to dial in.
yeah, please
I
do
would love to
call
understand
them.
what they're thinking is.
If na the credits be the problem, I ready, but I
Ndiala.
really want to hear their side of the story. Why now? You did it in 20, however 2017 is minus 50. It didn't work. What has changed? And what has changed in an Igbo speaking community where, like you rightly said, Rochas is still putting up Christmas trees when people are not getting paid. Like you rightly said, you still have the highest number of, education in the East, water, electricity, healthcare, as bad as it is in the rest of
Yes.
it
Hmm.
is.
As much as it wasn't publicized, they came against it wasn't that law to raise the age of marriage. It was the Eastern
Oh, yes, it was the East.
representation.
Everybody
It
thought
wasn't
it
our
was
northern
the
brothers
north.
that we know
Bam,
that it's
bam.
the East.
Yes, yes. So, what exactly are you bringing to the table other than this clamoring to be? What is it? Anyway, until Wednesday,
I
ladies.
think the women should ask some real questions because under Nigeria now, Igbo women can inherit. When Biafra comes, what is going to be
Yes,
your right? Are you going to be relegated? I mean, we want to ask this question.
yes, absolutely. I think I implore you right now to speak. At the moment, I have got one person for each side, but I implore everyone to speak with everybody they know who's willing to dial in, even if it's just for 5 minutes. State your case. State where you feel the country is, where you feel the country should be going, why you feel for Biafra if you feel for Biafra, why you feel against Biafra if you feel against Biafra. So let's talk about it. This is our future. This is our country. And we have a whole bunch of stuff that we need to be dealing with before we start dealing with infighting and half truths, which is what really annoys me and upsets me. Like you hear
Oh,
somebody put out a whole testimony on Biafra, and then somebody else will come and debunk every single sentence. And you're like, so is it that you were lying? Or is it that this thing is just propaganda? Or is it that you just don't know your history? That you feel so bold to come out and say all these things and they are not even true? What is the truth?
no,
How do we get to the bottom of the
no.
truth? All this and more on Wednesday on the Talking Drum. In the meantime, we are completely run out of time. So, ladies, please say goodnight to everyone and let's call it a day. Oh, yeah, Nkurka.
Good night, everyone. Friday cannot come quick enough because I want people to come and justify what their actions have been.
Wednesday.
Oh, Jare, sorry, the confusion of the topic. Wednesday. Love you guys, Lord. I'm still recovering. I have so much washing to do. So,
bless you.
Love you. Have a blessed weekend. Have a great week. And see you Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday, Kiru. Risha.
All right, good night, everyone. Rachel, please go and check on Carmen. Make sure the transformer didn't blow up or something.
As in, you come.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what it is? I think Rachel is perfectly right because she told us she was having a half day, which means by around 2 o'clock.
She did have a half day, yes.
Thank you. Around 2 o'clock, she go don chop. Once food comes the equation, around that 4 o'clock, she go to look and say, "Wetin make I do? Wetin make I do?"
Wait, she go wake up right after we drop phone.
Because I felt a little flicker of the light. I know say Carmen don't plug that thing. This light for my area is shake. Carmen don't plug that thing. Carmen, if you have finished collecting your bow leg, we are here on Wednesday.
Please, we're waiting.
Boo-boo. Join us on Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of us, a part of the show. Thank you so much for listening to all our rantings. We will rant again on Friday next week, same time, which is 7 to 8 p.m. for Aproko Hour. But please do join us on Wednesday, the 5th, I believe, for Talking Drum, where we will talk about the Biafra special. Thank you so much for being a part of us and have a fantastic weekend. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Remain safe until we meet again. A good night.
Bye, love.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.